FM 2018 is here. Maybe you haven't gotten the game yet and you want to find out if it's a major improvement. Maybe you want to find out if your rig can handle it. Well, on today's show, we're going to cover that and we're going to see what the changes are like, whether these changes are groundbreaking changes or whether they are side grades. You know, you have upgrades, you have side grades. Does it make sense getting your hands on the game? And how does this game compare to FM17 or FM16 in terms of difficulty level? All that and more is going to be covered on the show. The first thing you'll notice is this annoying tune. It's in the game right at the start and it's been in every single FM TV video. Good news, you can turn it off from system preferences. When you choose your managerial style, you'll have three more options for coaching attributes. These are goalkeeper distribution, handling, and shot stopping. This is going to be significant because it means that goalkeeper distribution training is now an effective part of the game. Fantastic. But because of the dynamics module, I would recommend that you get the game to suggest badges based on the club that you're at. This makes the initial stages of getting used to this game fairly easy. If you choose to go with no badges, then expect a higher challenge. I'm using an iMac mid-2015 model with about 32 gigabytes of RAM and dedicated 4 gigabyte video card, and I found that this game takes up a fair bit of resources from my rig. Running my CPU almost is 60 to 70% because of the game, and at times the graphics, the engine itself, the pictures appear a bit jerky. That's because I'm playing on the highest resolution. It's not really possible on my iMac. So this means that people who are on a Mac, they're gonna have won't be surprised if some of them have issues. If you had issues on FM17, you certainly are gonna face issues on FM18. If your machine could barely handle the requirements for FM17, there's no way you're gonna enjoy FM18 on that rig that you have at the moment. So yes, there are certainly some heavy requirements for the game, and it's very surprising, but I think in large part that's got to come from the 3D graphics engine that they've introduced into the game. Dynamics is a very cool, very new feature. I love this feature because it's about squad management. Now, the thing about this is it's probably going to have that kind of appeal for people, a new appeal, and for some it's going to wear off pretty quickly, because if you already have a system in place on how to handle dynamics in the club without having to depend on something to tell you that a player is unhappy, then you won't have any issues with this module. If you're already practicing squad rotation, you know what you're doing, you know how to handle the players, you know from their personalities what to do, and you won't have an issue with this. It's a fun little module to give yourself challenges with, like, let's just go piss off my team leaders and see what happens. It can be fun. I did that. I kind of gave myself a challenge. My own challenge was, how quickly can I get fired from Man City by pissing my players off? I did that. It was a lot of fun. But the thing here is, it all depends on your approach to the game. In terms of giving you feedback, this is a fantastic tool, because now you should know if you piss one player off, what's going to happen. So if you got a team leader up here and he hates your guts and you decide to piss all over him and give him the hardest time in his life, he might get a few other players in his camp, and the next thing you know, you face with a revolt, and then you'll find that you receive a letter from the chairman of the club saying, thanks for all the fish, but can you get the hell out of this club? So it's a new feature. It's cool. You can see social groups. You can the happiness of the players is also broken down by a score. So this is like a score, overall score here, with individual scores that contribute to it. Fantastic. Now the thing about dynamics that is really, really cool is this: if you have a few players coming to piss you off and you decide to piss them off, then all it takes is around 3 players before this overall happiness. I've seen abysmal. I worked really hard to get Abysmal. I'm so proud of myself. So you can probably wonder. I mean, honestly speaking, this is good. I find it's a mini game of sorts. So if I get bored, I might load up a save. Let me see if I can piss off Real Madrid. So I just go in there. Let's see how long it takes. It can be another game. Instead of managing how well can I screw up a club, it's a kind of it's fun. I think it's fun. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a weird fun, I guess. But yes, this is a very cool module because it allows for so much information to come through to you. Now, this alone, and then you've got Medical Center. Now, Medical Center is also another cool module. And this is very, very handy for people who've always asked the question, why are my players getting injured? Now, you're going to get an assessment for your players as to, there's a combination. factors that leads to overall injury risk assessment for your player. So it could come from the number of games they play, the kind of training that they've been given, the body state, the kind of body that the guy has, whether he's susceptible to injuries. All these come together to give you an overall risk rate. Very handy for periods of your winter period, for example. When you get through that period, do you want to rest a few players more than the others? This is going to give you that indication. At the moment, I have one player here who's got a very high risk of injury. I have no idea. I don't even know who this dude is because I haven't even used him, but he's obviously got an injury down here on his hamstring. So it's great. I mean, you get all this information so you can manage your club a bit more. And this is very important for how you're going to rotate your players in line with dynamics. So you're going to have some players who are first teamers, rotation players, key players. They're going to have certain expectations. And then can you imagine if you have a guy who always gets injured all the time? What are you going to do? How are you going to manage him? In previous editions to the game, sometimes things go south and we can't really tell what's going on anymore. Now here we have a new module. Or rather, I think it was already a module, but now we have a new way of getting the information, so it becomes handy. On top of that, you will have a season summary as to who your players are getting, how long did they miss, what percentage of games did they miss. But more importantly, there's a whole new mini game here too. Like there's a ranking for how you stack up in terms of injuries and how you handle injuries. So if you have been able to decrease the incidence of injuries, then this will tell you that as well. So it's pretty cool. Here's another tip. FM18 will see an increase in incidence in short-term injuries. So I know in FM17 it was unrealistic. Totally unbelievable. I was able to go through, win the title with about 15 players, 16 players. Didn't really care. Played most of the season with 11 players, 12 players. Yeah, that's not going to be possible in FM18 because there's going to be more short-term injuries. So expect a few knocks on the head, broken noses, bruised ribs, injuries. There are going to be new kinds of injuries added to the game. I think this is a fantastic addition to the game. Does it change the game? Play a lot? Not really. Is this a revolution? Evolution? I would say the game is evolving. This is what I would call an evolution. But there are certain modules that have evolved, right? There's a dynamics module. I would call it evolution as well. I would call this module evolution. But when you put all these modules together, there's something that's going on in this game. It's pretty interesting. The next thing we're going to look at is the Scouting Center. The Scouting Center has seen some changes. Now, for some, it's going to be annoying. For some, they're going to love it. But we're going to have to take the big picture here. I think that the Scouting Center has come some way. It makes it. There's a lot of information you can get from the Scouting Center, and it can change the way you play. Scouting now comes in. If you delegate the responsibility of scouting to your chief scout, you can actually step away and he goes out there and he follows your instructions. So you can give him like focuses, which is like priorities, the short-term priority and a general priority for the kinds of players that he brings in. You can also do it yourself, and you have a recruitment team, a budget that you're going to work off, which comes from the transfer budget, and you'll have this inbox over here. This inbox is a bit of an annoyance though. If you get 100 delivery items, then you're going to have 100 of these to click through. It becomes a great clicking game. Now you can filter through by all these, and you'll actually see a relationship with your agents, which is kind of cool because there are certain things here that are nice. I just hate this damn card, that's all. I just don't like clicking through it. But if you give it a chance, you will discover other things as well. Now, if you come here, you will notice that if you had a scouting package and you got like the best, like you come to the player search, you notice a senior package. If you've got taken the best optimum packages, this will affect the number of players in your database. Cool. Assume you don't want to play the tougher version of this game, which is I only assign players recommended by my chief scout, right? Then you got all this, you can do the stuff yourself, I guess. But if you wanted to do the I only want to get my chief scout recommendations, then this is the other option. Here I have only 14 players formed by my chief scout, so I can only accept these 14 players, which is kind of cool. And then when you look over to the right and you hover over them, then you get the knowledge levels from your scouts. And then you will see how they compare, how their potential ability, all that information on the screen. I think that on a whole, this is actually a fairly interesting. I like this screen actually. When I come here, I will know from a glance how this player fits into my squad. So if I wanted to sign Paul Huntington into my squad, I will know immediately that this boy he has got more potential than some of the guys in my club. And I might want to give him a serious look. That's to me that's a interesting improvement in the scouting module. The tactical creator has seen some very new changes, and these are all welcome changes because we've been asking for these changes for the longest time. The first thing you'll notice when you go into the tactical creator is an analysis tab. When you click on the analysis tab, you'll discover lines and indications on the pitch where weaknesses exist. The changes to the tactical creator are fantastic. You know, they're going to make the game a lot more easier to play for a lot of people. There's going to be better feedback. There are now more roles, duties. There's a play instruction as well. There's a new play instruction marking the specific position. There's a new team instruction. Some AM roles have received run wide with ball. We've got two player traits, including the bring the ball out of defense player trait on your central defenders. You can get them to learn this, or some of them might even come with it. We got the inverted wing back. So there are so many new changes to the tactical creator. These are fantastic. Then you also have the changes leading up to match day. FM18's graphic engine, is it a major improvement? It's alright. I wouldn't say it's fantastic. I say it's an improvement. In order for you to enjoy every single pixel of improvement, you probably have to spend a lot more money on your rig. So that's the reason why I'm holding back. I don't think the game needed crowd animations. I'm not a big fan of them. I don't even think you needed to animate the damn crowd. I mean, put some sprites there, but don't animate them. Yeah. I mean, for me, the resources should have been focused on the pitch, like with more animations for jostling, pushing. Yeah, work on that. Why the hell did we need a crowd jumping up and down for? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the crowd. Okay, the stadium, yes, the stadium looks nice, but once we start seeing upgrading of stadiums, and if those stands don't go down, I mean, as in be taken down for an upgrading, and you don't see work in progress, that kind of shit, people are going to start making jokes about it. So I don't know. For me, it's okay. What about the match engine? The match engine has seen some improvement from FM17. There's no denying that. It's better than FM17's match engine. However, we're not going to see a major change to the match engine code until probably FM19, from my opinion. I mean, the FM19 or FM20, that's when they will rewrite the match engine code, in my honest opinion, because you can see it now. The two modules that were relatively unscathed from this was the training module and the match engine module. Match engine received some changes, and we know the match engine is a legacy code, so it's due for a change. It hasn't been changed for a long time. It might even be holding the game back in a sense. So the match engine could see a major rewrite in the next couple of seasons, but for now they have to lay the foundations first, and the foundations comes from reporting information to the user, and that is what FM18 is all about. FM18 is all about giving the user better information so that they can have a better time playing the game. And how does that rank from FM17? Huge improvement, that's for sure. Because we didn't have that in any edition of FM before FM18. FM18 gives you better feedback on your tactics, gives you better feedback on man management, gives you better feedback on how you handle injuries. And that alone makes this a phenomenal improvement from FM17. It lays the foundation for the game to go forward, and that in itself is a major change. Is it worth buying this game? If you're into getting in on the ground floor of a change, definitely get this game, because you will see which direction the game is going in, and it's kind of cool. For me, I definitely will be playing this game, and I'm looking forward to hearing from all of you as to what you might think of this game and where you want to go with this game. You can find me in the usual places, or just drop me a comment here, and I look forward to hearing from you. Once again, I'd like to thank all my patrons for their continued support of this show. You guys take care, have a good one. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.